Are you serious? Are you serious? Is the Russian intervention into Syria, will this be the end of Vladimir Putin of Russia? Well, there is some concern, as in Syria conflict, the United States is now pressing Russia on their military buildup. According to the BBC News, U.S. Secretary of State John F. Kerry has called his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in a bid to clarify what is the intent of Moscow's military buildup in Syria. Now, John Kerry warned that the continued support for President Bashar Assad risk absolutely exacerbating and extending the conflict. The United States accuses Russia of boosting its military presence in Syria. Russia, of course, Mr. Assad's ally in the 4-year civil war, says it is helping the Syria fight ISIS. Moscow has increased its presence in the country just as the regime is losing ground to rebel groups. So John F. Kerry's phone call to the Russian foreign minister is believed to be his third in the last 10 days. The State Department statement said Mr. Kerry warned that Russia's support for President Assad was undermining our shared goal of fighting extremism. And if we do not also remain focused on finding a solution to the conflict in Syria via a genuine political transition, Secretary of State John F. Kerry also reaffirmed the United States' commitment to fight the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS, with a coalition of more than 60 countries, of which Assad could never be a credible member, and emphasis that the United States would welcome a constructive Russian role in this effort. The White House spokesman Josh Earnest described Moscow's support for President Assad as a losing bet. This is just in my opinion, Obama has been outplayed again. Once again, Obama has been outplayed by Putin. Vladimir Putin has just simply done this over the last 4 years since the Arab Spring. He has protected Assad in a little bunker in one little section of Damascus. He has allowed the entire country to be absolutely become a living hell, as Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, the Islamic Jihad, ISIS, this Free Syrian Army, who John McCain said, I found the good guys. He's allowed all these factions to just run rampant through the country as Christians have been butchered. I mean murdered. For those of you who think Putin is a friend of Christians, he set back just like Obama set back. And everybody set back. All the 6 superpowers set back and watched the absolute slaughter of the innocent civilians, non-Muslims like the Yiddies, and the Christians specifically. 4 years later, Damascus is nothing more than a ruinous heap. The whole country is in chaos. And now Putin and Iran are going to put in military presence and force. The reason Putin's going to do it is he will secure Assad as his puppet leader. The Christians are basically almost all dead. And about 2.5 million refugees have been flooded into the world. But I notice none of them are coming to Russia. If you notice, they're all going to Germany and United Kingdom and Hungary and Austria and the United States, and they're flowing everywhere else but Russia. And then Russia's going to move in their tanks, their armored vehicles, their soldiers. They're building an an air base there right now. They're joining forces with the Iranians, and they're building up a coalition with the Turks. And what Putin's going to do is put his stamp on the Middle East by establishing Syria or get a Russian presence right on the border of Israel. So if you go and read in Ezekiel 38, you'll find out that's exactly the nations that are going to participate in it. Russia, which is Magog. Persia, which is Iran. Togarmah, which is Turkey. And Ethiopia and Libya will join them. And that is your super five. That's your Fab Five that will, along with others, it says in Ezekiel 38 and 39, will come together and will invade Israel from the north or over the Golan Heights. Folks, now this is setting up. It won't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight because there's some other biblical prophecies that really need to take place before that, but they're getting in position. I can tell you right now, Russia will never leave Syria. Russia is going nowhere. The hook has been set in the jaw, which is, of course, the oil and the strategic position with Israel. They might smack ISIS. They will, actually, because they'll want the oil wells. But they don't care about the Kurds. They don't care about the Christians. They're dead. They don't care about the Syrian people. It's about the position, the location, and the oil, which will then they can dictate the price of oil by stopping this cheap oil being sold in the market for pennies on the dollar. They can start dictating the price of oil, which will drive the price up, which will help the Russian economy, which is suffering greatly since the price of crude oil is under $40 a barrel or somewhere close to that. Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. Is this the end of Vladimir Putin? No, this is just the beginning. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. Are you saved?